Dear friends, today, I invite you into a deeper truth. One that lies behind your bank accounts, beyond your job title, and even greater than economic systems. It is the truth of spiritual law, unseen yet always at work. Just as the law of gravity governs the earth, there are spiritual laws that govern your money. When you understand these laws and align with them, you will walk in divine supply, not lack. You will magnetize prosperity, not chase it. So, let's awaken to the 7 hidden spiritual laws that govern your money. 1. The law of divine substance. Money is not your source. Your job is not your supply. God is your source, and money is but a symbol of divine substance. Many chase symbols while neglecting the source. When you align with this law, you stop worrying about where money will come from. You begin to affirm, God is my instant, constant, and abundant supply. Divine substance flows to me through expected and unexpected channels. See beyond the paper. Feel the presence of divine substance everywhere you go. 2. The law of mental equivalence. You cannot attract wealth if your inner picture is poverty. The universe mirrors your inner beliefs, not your outer pleas. If you see yourself always just getting by, struggling, or unworthy of wealth, you are blocking the flow. Money comes to those who create the image of abundance in the mind. So paint this picture in your spirit. I see myself prosperous. I live in divine luxury. I move with ease. I attract lavish supply wherever I go. What you impress, you express. 3. The law of giving and receiving. You cannot receive with a clenched fist. Money is a current. It must flow. Those who hoard in fear block circulation. Those who give in faith invite multiplication. Give not to impress but to bless. Give when you feel led, and give with joy. Your seed is never lost, it is always returned multiplied. Declare, I give freely and fearlessly, knowing my gifts come back to me increased and overflowing. 4. The law of the spoken word. Your words are wands. What you declare, you prepare. Many speak poverty into existence with phrases like, I can't afford it. I'm always broke. Or, money doesn't grow on trees. Speak not of lack, but of overflow. Say boldly, I speak wealth into my life. I declare increase, promotion, inheritance, and favor. My words shape my financial reality. My words are spiritual contracts. Speak only what you want to experience. 5. The law of faith over fear. Faith opens doors. Fear locks them. Money responds to your dominant vibration. When you fear bills, lack, or not having enough, you lower your frequency. But when you stand in faith, even when you don't know how, it is done unto you as you believe. Affirm, I walk by faith, not by sight. I am divinely guided. I trust that everything I need is already provided. A fear is a spiritual fog. Faith is divine light. Choose light. 6. The law of forgiveness. Bitterness blocks blessings. If you resent those who are rich, you push wealth away. If you feel guilty about having more than others, you will sabotage your own abundance. Forgive everyone. Release resentment. Clear the inner path for money to flow freely. Say, I forgive and release all resentment toward wealth, people, or the past. I am free, and money is free to find me. Money moves through clean hands and clear hearts. 7. The law of divine timing. You may be doing all the right things, and yet the increase feels delayed. But delay is not denial. Divine timing is precise. The universe rearranges people, places, and pathways on your behalf. You must wait in joy, not in worry. Trust the unfolding. Affirm, what is mine by divine right is on its way to me now. Delays are divine setups. My harvest is sure. Patience is not passive, it is active trust. Dear friends, these laws are not man-made. They are eternal truths. They work whether you believe in them or not. But when you do believe, you activate miracles. Your wealth is not outside you. It begins in your spirit. Align your thoughts, words, and actions with spiritual truth, and money will come as surely as the dawn. Expect miracles. Prepare for overflow. Walk as though abundance walks with you. Because it does. Money in its physical form is simply paper, metal, or a number on a screen. It carries no power of its own until we assign it meaning. Many people labor under the false idea that their money comes from their job, their boss, or the economy. They live in a constant state of anxiety, clinging to every paycheck and fearing its loss, believing that if their position is removed, their provision vanishes. This belief is not only limiting, it is spiritually incorrect. The truth is that money is only a symbol, a representation of something far greater. The real source of money is invisible. It is divine substance, the eternal, limitless supply of God that undergirds all material existence. When you begin to understand that God is your supply, everything changes. You no longer chase money or people. You turn within and align with the infinite reservoir that never runs dry. Divine substance is everywhere. It is present in the air you breathe, the ideas that flow through your mind, and the opportunities that arise seemingly out of nowhere. When you root yourself in the awareness of divine substance, you become free from the bondage of material dependency. You know that the true source of your provision is spiritual, and therefore it is unfailing. Jobs may shift, banks may falter, economies may tremble, but divine substance cannot be exhausted or diminished. This is why some people seem to prosper no matter what is happening in the world. They are not operating solely on the material plane, they are connected to something deeper. They may not even be able to explain it, but their consciousness is aligned with abundance. They have accepted, whether consciously or intuitively, that their good comes from a higher source. In contrast, many people toil endlessly, striving and worrying, yet they always feel behind. Why? Because they look to the outer world for security. They put their faith in man-made systems. And when those systems shake, so does their sense of peace. But divine substance is the one thing that cannot be taken from you. To align with divine substance, you must first unlearn the lies of lack. The world teaches limitation from an early age. We are told there's not enough to go around, that resources are scarce, that success is for the few. These messages get lodged in the subconscious and become internal laws. But they are false laws. Man-made illusions that contradict spiritual truth. The truth is, the universe is overflowing with supply. There is no shortage in spirit. The sun does not withhold its rays. The ocean does not run dry. Nature reveals abundance everywhere. And it is the same with divine substance. Spiritual alignment begins with recognition. You must recognize that you are already connected to infinite supply. You do not have to earn it, struggle for it, or compete for it. It is yours by divine right. Your spiritual inheritance is wealth, not poverty. When you remember this, your mindset shifts from fear to trust. You stop asking, "How will I get money?" and instead affirm, "I am one with the source of all riches." This affirmation is not just positive thinking. It is spiritual truth. And truth, when accepted, sets you free. Many people confuse wealth with possession. They believe that having money in the bank is the goal, and while saving and planning are wise, spiritual wealth begins with consciousness. A wealthy person in spirit may have nothing visible for a time, yet abundance still flows to them. Why? Because they are aligned with Source. They think prosperity, speak prosperity, and expect prosperity. Their atmosphere is charged with the vibration of sufficiency. And because the outer world reflects the inner world, the visible eventually follows the invisible. This law of divine substance also teaches that supply is not limited to one channel. If your job ends, divine substance opens another door. If a client leaves, divine substance brings another. When you recognize that your supply does not come from people but through people, you remain in peace. You don't fear the closing of one door, because you know the source is still intact. The channel may change, but the source remains. And when the source is divine, the channels are endless. Some individuals unknowingly block divine substance by idolizing money. They worship the symbol and forget the source. They obsess over numbers, chase wealth, and live in stress. This approach backfires because it places money on the throne instead of spirit. But when you put God first, money follows. When you seek divine guidance, ideas flow, doors open, and the right people appear. Divine substance expresses through creativity, intuition, and unexpected miracles. It is not limited to one form. It is fluid, dynamic, and always moving toward you when you are in harmony with it. To truly operate under the law of divine substance, one must also cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is a spiritual magnet. When you give thanks for what you have, you multiply your good. Gratitude signals to the universe that you are ready to receive more. It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is already present. This shift in awareness opens the floodgates of divine substance. You begin to notice blessings in places you had overlooked. You realize that even a small increase is a sign of the greater to come. Gratitude is not just good manners. It is a powerful spiritual activator. Another important key is stillness. Divine substance flows best through a calm and centered mind. When your thoughts are scattered and filled with worry, you block the flow. But when you center yourself in quiet trust, you create space for divine ideas and solutions. Many times, money does not fall from the sky. It comes through inspired action. That inspiration rises from the silence. In silence, you remember that you are not alone, that divine intelligence is guiding you, and that you already possess everything needed for your next step. The law of divine substance also requires you to release comparison. Looking at someone else's financial status and judging your own worth by it only fuels lack. Every soul has a unique journey and a unique expression of abundance. Your path is yours. Divine substance does not run out because someone else is blessed. In fact, celebrating others' success without jealousy accelerates your own prosperity. Blessing another's wealth invites wealth into your own life. What you praise, you raise in your consciousness. And what you raise, you attract. The final aspect of aligning with divine substance is obedience. Sometimes spirit will guide you to take an action that feels risky. Give when you feel like holding back. Apply for something you feel unqualified for, or invest where others hesitate. When the guidance is divine, obedience brings supply. Divine substance meets you at the point of faith. Every act of trust stretches your capacity and deepens your connection to the source. Faith-filled obedience is one of the highest expressions of alignment with divine substance. Your inner world is the mold from which your outer life is poured. Everything you experience in your finances, your opportunities, and your success is first formed in the invisible realm of thought. This is the law of mental equivalence. The truth that you can only receive in life what you first accept and picture in your mind. If you hold an image of lack, if you constantly see yourself struggling, barely getting by, or undeserving of more, then no amount of outer effort will bring lasting prosperity. The mind is the spiritual workshop where your reality is created, and if poverty lives there, poverty must show up in your life. Many people desire wealth, but hold mental blueprints of limitation. They wish for abundance while subconsciously expecting hardship. They affirm success but secretly fear failure. Their mental pictures are misaligned with their spoken desires. The universe responds not to what you say once, but to what you consistently imagine, believe, and expect. If your dominant thoughts are of debt, scarcity, or insecurity, then your mental equivalent is built on lack. To change your financial condition, you must first change your inner vision. Everything in the material world is first born in the mind. Just as an architect does not build without a blueprint, the universe does not manifest without a mental equivalent. That blueprint must be clear, strong, and detailed. Vague or contradictory images produce mixed results. If you affirm abundance but imagine empty pockets, you send out a confused signal. Spiritual law is exact. What you impress upon your subconscious must be expressed in form. You cannot attract what you do not believe you deserve. You cannot receive more if your mental container is too small to hold it. To expand your capacity for wealth, you must begin by creating a new image in your mind. Picture yourself living in ease. See yourself paying your bills joyfully and effortlessly. Envision having more than enough, not just to survive but to give, to bless, and to enjoy. Hold that image with feeling, not just with words. The subconscious does not respond to idle statements. It responds to deep impressions charged with emotion. Feel the joy of increase. Feel the security of divine supply. Feel the gratitude of already having it. Mental equivalence also means eliminating the inner pictures of fear. Many people live in fear of losing their job, not being able to afford their needs, or being rejected if they become wealthy. These fears are subtle but powerful. They play like silent films in the background of the mind. They shape decisions, limit actions, and restrict faith. When you catch yourself imagining the worst, stop immediately and replace the image, cancel it, reverse it. Declare, that is not my truth. My mind is a home for divine abundance. The world may be filled with messages of lack, but you are not of the world. You are governed by higher laws. To walk in abundance, you must discipline your imagination. You must choose your thoughts as carefully as you choose your clothing. Do not allow negative pictures to remain. Do not allow poverty-based conversations to influence your mental state. Guard your inner sanctuary. Fill it with visions of success, joy, and freedom. Your mental equivalence is also influenced by your self-worth. Many people unconsciously block prosperity because they do not feel worthy of wealth. They may believe that money corrupts, that it separates people from God, or that only certain people deserve to prosper. These beliefs are inherited from culture, family, and religion, but they are not divine truth. Divine truth says you are made in the image of the Creator. You are meant to live in beauty, abundance, and peace. Your good does not take from others, it adds to the world. You are worthy, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. One of the most effective ways to build mental equivalence is through repetition and visualization. Take time daily to close your eyes and see yourself living the life you desire. Not in some far-off dream, but as a present reality. Feel it, see it, believe it. Make it real in your mind, and it will become real in your life. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a physical one. When you persist in holding a new picture, the universe rearranges circumstances to match your inner vision. Do not be discouraged if results are not immediate. Just as a seed does not sprout the moment it is planted, mental images take time to grow. Your job is not to force the outcome, but to maintain the image. Keep your vision steady. Water it with faith, nourish it with gratitude, and protect it from doubt. Many people uproot their good by entertaining opposing thoughts. They plant the seed of abundance in the morning and dig it up with fear by night. Be consistent. Be faithful. Your mental picture is the blueprint, and the manifestation will follow. Another aspect of mental equivalence is the practice of speaking in alignment with your inner vision. Your words should reflect your picture. If you say, "I'm broke, I can't afford that," or "nothing ever works out for me," you are affirming lack. Speak only what matches your desired image. Say, "Money flows to me freely. I always have more than enough," and "I live in divine supply." Speak from the end result, not from the present limitation. Your words should echo the image in your mind. Surround yourself with reminders of abundance. Place symbols of prosperity in your environment. Beautiful objects, uplifting quotes, or anything that makes you feel rich in spirit. These visual cues reinforce your inner picture. Read books, listen to teachings, and engage with ideas that support your mental equivalent. Everything you expose your mind to is planting a seed. Be selective. Choose only those seeds that grow into the garden you desire. Mental equivalence is not just a concept, it is a lifestyle. It requires awareness, discipline, and faith. You must become the person who naturally thinks, feels, and acts from abundance. This is not pretending, it is preparing. When you hold the mental equivalent of wealth, you become magnetic to opportunities, ideas, and resources. People respond to your energy, not your words. They feel your confidence, your expectancy, your belief in your own good. Finally, mental equivalence means trusting the process. There may be days when your outer world contradicts your inner vision. There may be moments of doubt, delay, or resistance. These are tests of faith, not signs of failure. Stand firm in your picture. Remind yourself that the spiritual precedes the material. What is real is what you hold in consciousness. What is seen is only the outpicturing of past thoughts. Keep choosing the higher image. Keep refining your inner landscape. The universe is always responding to your dominant mental equivalent. There is a divine rhythm to the flow of money, a spiritual current that moves like water. When money is held too tightly, it becomes stagnant. When it is allowed to circulate freely, it multiplies. This is the law of giving and receiving. It is one of the most powerful laws governing abundance, and yet it is often misunderstood. Many people believe that they must hold on to what they have in order to protect themselves from lack, but the very act of withholding interrupts the spiritual circulation that invites more to come. True wealth flows through open hands, not clenched fists. Prosperity is not a destination, it is a cycle. The principle is simple: as you give, you receive. Not always from the same person or place, but always according to divine law. Giving is not about losing something, it is about initiating a flow. When you give with joy, faith, and love, you declare that you are not in lack. You declare that you trust the universe to return your gift multiplied. It is not the amount that matters. It is the spirit in which it is given. A small offering given with a cheerful heart has more spiritual power than a large gift given with resentment or fear. Giving is not about duty. It is about alignment. When you give, you match the vibration of abundance. Many people think they must wait until they have more to begin giving. But this is a reversal of the law. Giving precedes receiving. If you wait for increase before you circulate, you may never experience increase. Giving is the seed, and receiving is the harvest. A farmer does not wait for a crop before planting a seed. Likewise, you must give from where you are, trusting that the act of giving activates the law. When you release, you make room. When you withhold, you block your own flow. The universe can only fill what you have emptied in faith. There are many forms of giving. It is not limited to money. You can give time, encouragement, prayer, attention, service, and love. You can give a smile, a kind word, a helping hand. Every act of generosity counts. Every gift sent forth in love carries spiritual energy. When you give, you plant a vibrational seed in the field of divine substance. That seed does not die. It grows silently and returns to you at the appointed time. You do not always know how it will return or through whom. But return it must. That is spiritual law. Some people fear giving because they have experienced betrayal or loss. They believe that giving left them empty. But if the giving was truly led by spirit, it can never diminish you. Even when the outer result seems disappointing, the spiritual reward is unfolding in ways you cannot yet see. Every generous act aligns you more deeply with the frequency of wealth. Giving purifies the heart. It frees you from attachment. It opens channels. It transforms your identity from one who needs to one who provides. And when you identify as a giver, you cannot help but become a receiver. Your intention matters greatly. Give not to manipulate, impress, or control. Give because you are already blessed. Give because you love. Give because you trust. Give without expecting anything in return from the recipient, but know that the universe keeps perfect accounts. What you sow in one field may come back from another. Do not look to man as your source. Give to people, but receive from God. This detaches your giving from personal expectations and connects it to divine order. There is a spiritual elegance in anonymous giving. When no one knows who gave, only the vibration of love is left. This kind of giving is pure. It is clean. It carries no strings, no pride, no pressure. It is a secret between you and the divine. And in that secret, a sacred bond is formed between your soul and the source of all supply. Giving in this way stretches your faith and sharpens your spiritual discernment. You begin to give because you are led, not because you are asked. You follow the promptings of spirit and discover that your gifts are always right on time. Some people have distorted ideas about receiving. They believe it is more spiritual to give than to receive, and so they resist blessings when they come. But this too is a block. Giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. You cannot give freely if you do not also receive freely. To receive with grace is to honor the giver. To receive with joy is to complete the cycle. When someone blesses you, do not diminish their gift with guilt or resistance. Say yes. Say thank you. Receive fully, and the law is fulfilled. There are those who give out of obligation or fear, hoping to buy favor or avoid punishment. This is not spiritual giving. True giving is done with freedom and joy. If you give with a heavy heart, stop and examine your motives. The energy behind your gift is more important than the form. If you resent giving, you delay your harvest. If you give to prove something, you cloud the intention. But when you give with an open heart, you call forth the resources of heaven. You declare, I am a channel for divine abundance. I trust the law. I participate in the circulation of wealth. The more you give, the more you expand your capacity to receive. It is a paradox. As you pour out, more is poured in. As you let go, more comes forth. This is not a mechanical exchange. It is a spiritual expansion. Your giving creates a spiritual vacuum that the universe rushes to fill. It stretches your trust muscles. It reconditions your mind to believe in divine overflow. Each time you give, you reinforce your identity as a prosperous being. There is a divine timing in all things. Sometimes the return comes quickly. Other times it comes after seasons of silence. But the law never fails. What you give returns to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The form may surprise you. It may come through an opportunity, a relationship, a creative idea, or a sudden cancellation of debt. Be open. Do not limit how your good will return. The universe is infinitely creative, and it always finds a way. Be mindful of where you give. Give where you are spiritually fed. Give where your heart is drawn. Give where your seed can grow. Not all soil is fertile. Not all giving is led by spirit. Ask for guidance. When you are led to give, do it promptly. Delayed giving can miss divine timing. Prompt giving brings immediate peace. It affirms your trust in the unseen supply and opens you to greater blessings. The law of giving and receiving is not a trick to get money. It is a path to become abundance itself. You are not giving to get, you are giving to grow. You are giving to shift your consciousness from scarcity to sufficiency. You are giving to activate the divine law that already exists within you. Giving is the evidence of your faith. It is the practice of your belief. It is the expression of your trust in a universe that never runs out. When you live according to this law, you move from fear to flow. You no longer chase money, you channel it. You no longer worry about supply, you become supply. You become a vessel through which prosperity flows, blessing everyone you encounter. You rise above the limitations of the world and live in the circulation of the Spirit. You give because you are rich in soul. You receive because you are aligned with Source. You live in the divine rhythm of enough and more than enough. Your words are not empty sounds, they are creative tools. Every word you speak carries vibration, frequency, and power. The universe does not respond to your intentions alone. It responds to your declarations. What you consistently speak out loud becomes a blueprint that shapes your reality. This is the spiritual law of the spoken word. You are constantly either blessing or blocking your financial life with the language you use. You may not realize it, but every casual remark, every habitual phrase, and every emotional outburst is forming the soil in which your future grows. If you speak of lack, struggle, or limitation, you are sowing seeds that will surely return a harvest after their kind. If you speak of abundance, ease, and divine provision, you are creating the conditions for prosperity to blossom. Words have substance. They are not invisible things that vanish once they are said. They imprint upon the subconscious and ripple into the fabric of the universe. This is why it is essential to guard your tongue. Many people sabotage their financial flow simply by the way they talk. They say things like, "I can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. I'm always broke," or "Nothing ever works out for me." These statements, though often said in jest or habit, are taken literally by the creative forces of the universe. The subconscious mind does not have a sense of humor. It simply receives and produces. When you declare limitation, you form a mold that restricts what life can bring to you. Every spoken word is a command to the subconscious. The subconscious is the servant, not the master. It does not judge what is true or false, good or bad. It simply obeys what is repeated with emotion and belief. This is why affirmations work. Not because they are magical words, but because they train the mind to believe in a new reality. When you say, "Money flows to me easily and frequently," you are instructing your subconscious to expect and accept that experience. The more you repeat it with conviction, the more the subconscious reprograms itself. Eventually, the outer world aligns with the new inner pattern. The spoken word is also a tool for redirecting energy. When fear creeps in, when doubt arises, when appearances contradict your desires, you can use your words to shift your atmosphere. Say aloud, "I refuse to agree with lack. I choose to agree with divine abundance. I am provided for in every way." Speak it even when you do not feel it. Speak it especially when circumstances say the opposite. This is not denial, it is spiritual assertion. You are not ignoring reality, you are invoking a higher reality. The world may show you bills, setbacks, or scarcity, but your words can call forth the invisible supply that is already present. You must also be mindful of the tone and emotion behind your words. A powerful affirmation spoken with disbelief will not penetrate deeply. But even a soft word, spoken with faith, can move mountains. Your words must be saturated with expectancy. Feel the truth of what you are saying. See it in your mind's eye as you speak it. Combine thought, emotion, and sound. This is the true formula of manifestation. Speak from the heart, not just the mouth. Speak from your spirit, not just your intellect. Do not underestimate the power of casual language. Many people undo their own affirmations with idle talk. They declare abundance in the morning, but complain about money in the afternoon. They speak truth on Sunday but speak fear on Monday. This inconsistency weakens the creative charge of their words. You cannot mix faith and fear and expect pure results. Choose one and stay with it. Discipline your speech. Refuse to participate in conversations that dwell on lack, debt, or financial fear. Remove phrases from your vocabulary that do not match the life you desire. Replace them with words of power, peace, and plenty. There is also power in speaking aloud to your money. Bless your wallet. Speak abundance over your bank account. Talk to your bills and say, "You are evidence of my circulation, and you are paid with ease by divine substance." When you treat money as a spiritual servant, not a fearful master, it responds in kind. Money carries the energy you project onto it. Speak kindly to it. Speak confidently about it. Refuse to curse it, criticize it, or demean it. What you criticize, you repel. What you bless, you invite. Some people struggle to use positive words because they believe it is dishonest to speak what they do not yet see. But spiritual law is not based on what is seen. It is based on what is true in principle. You speak not to describe your current condition, but to declare your divine position. Your present bank balance may show a temporary state, but your spoken word affirms your permanent source. Say it until it becomes more real to you than the numbers. Declare it until it becomes the dominant frequency in your being. Use the spoken word as a daily practice. Begin your day with declarations of abundance. Say things like, "Today, I walk in financial favor. Every dollar I circulate returns to me multiplied. I am a magnet for divine ideas and prosperous opportunities." Let your words become your spiritual armor. Let them go before you and create the atmosphere of wealth. Do not wait until things improve to speak better words. Speak better words so things can improve. Your voice carries your power. Use it with intention. There is also creative power in writing your affirmations and reading them aloud. The act of writing focuses the mind, and the act of speaking activates the spirit. This twofold practice impresses the subconscious more deeply. Create a list of affirmations that resonate with your soul. Speak them morning and night. Record them and listen to them. Fill your space with them. The spoken word creates repetition, and repetition creates belief. Belief is the fuel that powers manifestation. When you feel discouraged, return to your words. Speak not what you fear, but what you believe. Declare, "This too shall pass. I am greater than appearances. My supply is spiritual and cannot be diminished." Say it with authority. Say it with conviction. Let your words be swords that cut through doubt, shields that block fear, and keys that unlock provision. The more you speak truth, the more your reality conforms to it. Your words are not just for yourself. Speak abundance into the lives of others. Bless your family with words of increase. Speak prosperity over your community, your workplace, your nation. The energy of your words reaches further than you know. You become a lighthouse of wealth, casting spiritual light wherever you go. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of your declarations. Speak from love, and you will send love. Speak from wealth, and you will create wealth. Words are spiritual forces. They live, they move, they return. What you send out must come back to you. Every word is a seed. Be a wise sower. Choose your words as if the universe were listening, because it is. Choose them as if your life depended on them, because it does. Speak life. Speak wealth. Speak as one who knows they are connected to infinite supply. Faith is the unseen substance that bridges the gap between your desire and its manifestation. It is not wishful thinking, nor is it blind hope. It is the spiritual assurance that what you seek is already present in the invisible and will be made visible at the perfect time. Fear, on the other hand, is the belief in the absence of good. It is the dark illusion that what you need may not come, that the supply may run out, that circumstances hold more power than divine law. When it comes to money, many people unknowingly live more by fear than by faith. They worry about bills, obsess over debt, and make financial decisions rooted in anxiety rather than alignment. Every fearful thought sends out a signal of distrust to the universe, while every faithful affirmation opens the door to divine supply. Faith speaks when the bank account is low. Faith acts when the outcome is unclear. Faith holds the image of provision when circumstances appear contradictory. This is not denial of reality. It is the affirmation of a higher truth beyond the senses. The world may say lack is real, but spiritual law says abundance is eternal. Faith aligns you with that truth and gives you the courage to act as though your provision is already guaranteed. It allows you to walk in peace, even when there is no physical evidence of support. It enables you to speak prosperity when all you see is limitation. Faith is not a passive state. It is a creative force. When fear dominates your thinking, you begin to shrink your life. You stop pursuing opportunities. You hesitate to invest in your growth. You hoard instead of circulate. Fear whispers that you are alone, that nothing will change, that you must rely solely on effort or luck. It convinces you that others are lucky and you are forgotten. This mindset closes doors that faith would open. Fear binds, contracts, limits. It causes you to take actions based on survival, not vision. It creates a vibration that repels the very prosperity you desire. To overcome fear, you must first recognize it for what it is, a mental construct, not a divine reality. Fear is learned. It is programmed through experience, family, media, and repetition. But what is learned can be unlearned. You unlearn fear by choosing faith over and over until it becomes your dominant response. Faith is not the absence of challenge. It is the ability to meet challenge with inner certainty. When a bill arrives, fear says, "I don't have enough." Faith says, "This too is covered by divine supply." When a job ends, fear says, "I am finished." Faith says, "This is a transition into something greater." Your outer life reflects whichever voice you agree with most consistently. There is great spiritual power in acting on faith, even when fear is present. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward anyway. When you take even a small step in faith, you activate the law of increase. The universe meets you at the point of movement. If you wait until fear disappears, you may never begin. But when you act from trust, divine support rushes in to guide and provide. You may not know how every detail will unfold, but you don't need to know. You only need to know the next right step and take it with confidence. Faith also requires that you release the need to control every outcome. Fear insists on knowing how, when, and through whom the money will arrive. Faith rests in the knowing that it will arrive, trusting divine timing and divine order. The most powerful manifestations often come through unexpected channels. Faith keeps you open to infinite possibilities. It allows room for miracles. It detaches from the struggle and leans into the flow. It says, "Even if I don't see the way is already made." This spiritual posture makes you receptive to insights, opportunities, and provision that fear would blind you to. Building faith in the realm of finances also means building a deeper relationship with divine intelligence. This is not about religious practice. It is about spiritual alignment. Spend time in silence, in prayer, in listening. Ask for guidance and expect answers. Write down inspired ideas even if they seem small. Faith is not only about belief, it is about obedience. When you receive a nudge to give, to act, to speak, or to risk, follow it. These nudges are divine whispers leading you to your next supply. Trust that you are being led even when the path is unfamiliar. Fear often disguises itself as logic. It says, "Be realistic. Be careful. Don't expect too much." But divine logic does not operate by human limitation. What is impossible to man is entirely possible to spirit. Faith allows you to override logic with vision. It enables you to set goals that stretch you, to dream beyond your past, to believe for what others say is unlikely. The world may call it foolish, but the spiritually minded know that faith is the foundation of all breakthroughs. Nothing new is created without first believing it is possible. Faith also expresses through language. Your words are evidence of your inner state. When you speak lack, worry, or resentment, you affirm fear. When you speak increase, gratitude, and expectation, you affirm faith. Practice speaking in alignment with what you desire, not what you fear. Say, "I trust that all my needs are met. I know that divine abundance is unfolding for me now. I expect favor, increase, and open doors. Let your conversation reflect the outcome you believe in, not the obstacle you are facing. Your words shape your vibration, and your vibration shapes your results. There will be times when fear feels overwhelming. In those moments, return to spiritual truth. Read scriptures, affirmations, or teachings that anchor you in faith. Surround yourself with voices of hope, not fear. Avoid media, people, or environments that feed anxiety. You must curate your inner world as carefully as your outer. Protect your spirit. Stay grounded in what is eternal, not what is temporary. Fear is loud, but faith is steady. Fear fluctuates, but faith remains. One of the quickest ways to shift from fear to faith is through gratitude. Fear says, I don't have enough. Gratitude says, I am already blessed. When you begin to thank God for what is already present, you create a magnetic field for more. Gratitude opens the heart and quiets the mind. It reminds you that you are not lacking, that you are already supported, that more is on the way. Begin and end each day with thankfulness. Let your spirit dwell in appreciation, and your faith will grow stronger. Faith also expands through giving. When you give in times of uncertainty, you make a powerful declaration. I trust that more is coming. Giving breaks the illusion of lack and reinforces the flow of abundance. It proves to yourself that you are connected to something greater than fear. Each time you give, you practice detachment. You declare that you are not controlled by circumstances. You affirm that you live under divine law, and that law is ever faithful. Ultimately, the battle between fear and faith is fought and won in the mind. It is a choice you make moment by moment, day by day. You may not always feel brave, but you can choose to believe. You may not always understand the process, but you can trust the promise. Faith is not a guarantee of instant results, but it is the guarantee of spiritual alignment. And when you are aligned, you become a vessel for divine supply to pour through. Fear cannot survive in the presence of truth. And the truth is that you are never alone, never unsupported, never outside the reach of provision. Faith anchors you in this truth, and keeps you open to every good thing that is already yours by divine right.